Hello and welcome to this edition of Youth Files. On Youth Files, we get up close and personal with youths doing great things despite the challenges the youth community encounters in Nigeria. My name is Abdullateef Isa. My guest today is Abdganiyu Lateefat Abdganiyu, the best graduating student of the Faculty of Economics and Management Sciences, University of Ibadan, 2022-2023 academic session. Miss Latifat, welcome to Youth Files.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, and I'm glad to feature on this podcast.
Thank you so much. How excited were you when you were announced the best graduating student of the Faculty of Economics and Management Sciences at the UI 76th Foundation Day Anniversary and 2024 Convocation Ceremonies?
I think it was something that I was quite overwhelmed, to be honest, because even though it was something that a lot of my classmates had manifested in the past and said, "Oh, this was going to be our BGS. This we are going to be our BGS." It still felt very unexpected, and I was just so happy because all the effort I put in from the start had finally paid off. In fact, the first person that called me to tell me that, "Oh, you're BGS," she was just like, all your efforts paid off, well deserved. And I was just glad and very like overjoyed. I was even brought very close to tears because I could just remember all the sleepless nights, all the, oh, let's just try and do this, let's read, let's stay up shooting nights, burning the midnight candles. Everything finally paid off. So I was very excited and I was grateful to Allah because without him it would not have been possible.
Wow, congratulations. What CGPA did you graduate with?
I graduated with a CGPA of 3.76 out of 4.0.
Incredible. Aside being the faculty's CGS, what other awards did you win during your convocation?
Aside being the faculty's BGS, I won a total of 17 awards from various members of the faculty that like alumni
Wow,
members that donated to the faculty. I cannot recall everyone because there are lots, the names are plenty, but it was a total of 17 awards.
wow. What does it take to emerge the best graduating student of a faculty, or even to emerge a first class graduate?
Right. So to answer that question, it takes a lot of like elements to emerge the best because there are a lot of things you need to put into place. For me, some of the factors that I used to my advantage were one, hard work, being determined, being resilient, being someone who is being efficient. Like whatever you are doing, always put your best foot forward in whatever you try to do. It might seem scary at first, but it's a crucial aspect of going out of your comfort zone, and that's very essential for continuous growth. For me, I was someone who really prioritized efficiency and effectiveness. In everything I did in school, I never wanted to be known as someone who performed tasks in a mediocre manner. I would always try to like give it my best. So whether it was extracurricular activities, whether it was my academics, I always ensured that I was efficient. Whatever is worth doing well. That's a common saying. And for me, I took it very personal. If I'm doing it, then I want to be doing something that will come out as top.
Okay, I know you are a member of the Union of Campus Journalists, University of Ibadan. Aside being a member of the UCJ, were you a member of any other association when you were on campus?
All right, thank you for the question. Aside being a member of the Union of Campus Journalists, I was also a very active member of the Student Finance Club UI, and I held a couple of leadership positions in the club. I was also on the editor in chief for my departmental press, Echo Express. So those were the three organizations where I participated most actively whilst in school.
How were you able to combine extracurriculars and academics?
All right, so reflecting on my journey, I would say that there really was never enough time, and it was up to me to find ways to balance everything I was trying to do. And like I mentioned initially, a big part of what came into play was my determination. For me, for my very first year at the University of Ibadan, I knew I wanted to engage in extracurriculars to develop an identity capital because that was very important to me. I didn't just want to be known as someone who was, oh, this person, she's very book smart. I wanted to be known in other aspects of the university as well. That this person also features in this society. She's an active member of this organization, and I would say that I was able to achieve that to a very large extent. And following this, I had to like employ different strategies to ensure that I managed my time effectively. For me, I used to like follow like schedules. I would set my daily priorities. I used a lot of to-do lists just to ensure that, oh, if I had 5 hours of class, for example, in a day, I would already strategize how I was going to balance everything with my extracurricular activities, time to read as well. And to be honest, I would not say that it was easy. It was never easy because a lot of time I had to like burn the midnight candle. There was no way I could escape that because I could do like let's say 5 hours of class in a day. I have 3 hours to do extracurricular activities, the various leadership position I was holding as well. And my routine would always extend into the night. So most times I was always up at night. As UI student to call it, I always did TDBs just to try and ensure that everything um there was no unbalanced area to balance everything up. So this was my routine on most days, except of course on days when there are extenuating circumstances that would affect how I was able to like maybe cover up, or maybe one part would have to be a trade-off to the other. For example, I could have to like trade off time for extracurricular activities to academics on some days. But that was just how I tried to like balance everything up together.
Okay. What were your most memorable moments as an undergraduate?
All right, that's an interesting question, and I really like it. I would say that my most memorable moments in undergrad were about, let's say, I can classify them into about three moments. So the very first one would be when I emerged the best inductee for UCJ UI induction exam back. I think that was in like 2021, I think. And to be honest, it was something I was not expecting because I had ICANN exams and I was preparing for my ICANN exam at that moment. So on that particular day, when I went to write the UCD exams, I had just left my tutorial. In fact, I had tutorial classes that were running from about um 8 a.m. in the morning to 7 p.m. in the night because that's how like ICANN classes are routined. And then I had to cut the lesson short and I told my tutor that I was going to come back. I left around 12 just to meet up with the exams, and I wrote my exams, went back to continue with my ICANN lessons. So it wasn't, I put effort into preparing for the exams, right? But I just felt like in combining everything, I just felt like I was a little bit lost in that foray. But I still went to write the exams. And for the following week, which was like on a Monday, I got a call that, oh, that she checked the list of the results, UCJ UI results, that I had the topmost top score. I was so excited because it was something I was really not expecting, and it wasn't even me doubting my capabilities or abilities. Now it was just something that, oh, I felt like I was doing a little bit too much at that point, but I was still able to emerge top. So that was one of my most memorable moments, and it's something I'm not going to forget. And then I think the second moment would be when I bagged my AAT qualification. So when you're doing ICANN, you, especially as an undergraduate, you first have to go through um you first have to become an accounting technician. Yes, that's AAT. Yeah, an accounting technician. And when I did this, I think I did this with about five other members of my class, and it was something that we had to like combine with school extracurriculars. Some of us had other like internships and stuff that we also like juggling together. So upon doing everything, it was a very like tough moment because we're balancing academics, extracurricular roles, all those things, and we were still able to write our exams and pass. So I remember upon coming back, so many of my classmates just saw me when we came back from like we went for the induction in Lagos. So upon coming back to classes, my classmates were just like, "Oh my god, how do you guys do it? Like, how do you guys balance everything?" There was so many congratulations all around, and just really felt like they were able to like spotlight us. Like the spotlight was on us as at that moment. So that was like the second topmost moment. And I think the third moment for me would be when I did the National CFA Research Challenge competition, and I represented the University of Ibadan. And this was back when I was in third year level. And it was also a point where like I said, I was juggling a lot at that point. So 300 level is known as the most tedious level for most departments in UNI, and students in the economic department can attest to that. So at that point, it felt like a lot. The world needed to fall because I was juggling my 300 level courses, and then we had a lot of sessions for the CFA Research Challenge. So the CFA Research Challenge requires about 6 months of your time. So even before school resumed in 300 level, I had already like had meetup sessions with my teammates in the school. We already started like working on the challenge already. And then school resumed, and the burden just became more heightened, and there was no way to escape it. You just had to do it because it was something I was committed to doing, and it was something I always wanted to do. I had seen past colleagues do the challenge, and I always wanted to, I want to do this competition as well. I want to represent the school in this competition as well. And it was a point that showed me that I could get extended past my comfort zone at times, and I was still going to perform excellently. So at that point, it felt like I wasn't going to survive. I wasn't going to be able to survive, but we did. We went for the competition, got to the final stage out of about 24 schools. I think we got to the final 8 schools. So it was something like very impressive to me. I feel like it's one of my memorable moments and something I'm not going to forget. I learned a lot through the process, and it's one of some of the skills I learned from that competition are still like things I use in the workplace today. So those are my memorable moments.
Wow, congratulations. What were some of your experiences as a campus journalist?
All right, I really like that question. So the thing is, I wrote a lot of articles that actually like caused a lot of chaos in my department, to be precise. And there was actually a point where everything was really at a peak, and the faculty's president at that point was saying that it was going to report me to management. It was everything I wrote was just on account of on the part of accountability of the executives in the department. But a lot of times, as campus journalists, these things they feel triggered, and then they will always like to want to cause a lot of like chaos. And then he felt like he had to like report me. In fact, it got to a point where they were demanding a public letter of apology from me as the editor-in-chief for Eco Express, and they kept on like sending me. They sent an official letter to me from the National Economics Student Association, as NESA UI, and I just didn't respond to it at all because I felt like what I was doing was not. I was just trying to ensure that the public, the students, they got like what they wanted and they got enough transparency. So at that point, that was like one of the most, because at that point, most of my friends, and these people were my friends, they were people that I saw in the department that would say hi, greet each other on. So it was at that point, it strained like a lot of relationships for me. See, today, those relationships have not gotten fixed because most of them just felt like I was someone who was criticizing them unnecessarily. And the relationship never got fixed because I got called different kind of names on the group, on our WhatsApp group. So many names, so many things, so many insults that got posted on our blog too for the department's press. But it was just, they're just things that come to being a campus journalist. You have to be ready to face things like that. It's your duty to ensure that the public, they get their voice gets heard, and they get enough accountability from their leaders. So that was just my own principle.
Before we leave this part, what is your advice for campus journalists?
All right. So my advice for campus journalists to be that you should always put your best foot forward in whatever you are doing. Something that you want to take note of is identifying your prime objective as a campus journalist. Why are you a campus journalist? What are you trying to achieve by being a campus journalist? If the is it the I don't know what to describe it as, but you just know the main principles that you should put in mind as a campus journalist, and you want to follow these principles. So you need to ensure that no matter what's happening, you follow these principles to the T. You don't need to compromise on your principles because maybe someone is your friend or something. As campus journalists, you need to be ready to speak the truth always, no matter what is happening, no matter how connected you are to the situation or the person revolving around that situation. You need to be able to put your emotions behind you. You are trying to ensure that the message is getting across to the public in all honesty. So you need to ensure that you don't allow your emotions control you. You follow your principles as a campus journalist to the core.
Okay, thank you so much for that.